A manlet, a large shield on wheels, is being pushed slowly across the body-strewn battleground towards the barricade. Arrow shafts soon bristle from its thick wooden planks, as Duval's men fire their bows time and time again in an attempt to hit the shielded foe. Suddenly, a robed figure darts from behind the manlet and levels a black staff at the barricade. He is cut down by an arrow, but not before he has let loose from his staff a guttering ball of flame. It cartwheels from across the plain and explodes with a tremendous roar, hurling the bodies of defenders and shattered barricades high into the air. Through the cloud of dust and debris, you can see a line of enemy cavalry charging across the plain. They wear tall plumed helmets of polished steel and breastplates of deepest crimson. In the wake of the fireball, they pour through the remains of the barricade and attack. They give no quarter. A horseman spurs his horse towards you, his lance leveled at your chest. If you wish to stand and fight the horseman, turn to 333. If you wish to run back to the watchtower, turn to 107. There we go. Question is it going to be safer to stand, or do we want to pull back to the watchtower and fight from there? So, Slow, I don't know where you cut out, but we were in the middle of a large battle. Essentially, we made it to the town from the caverns. We had to cut across the field. Everyone was trying to shoot at us. We actually got shot in the leg, and Duval had to save us. Healed our leg. Met the mayor, whose daughter is being kept by the leader's bad guy, who is trying to dig up and make a sacrifice to bring about raising all of the killed Dark Lords in the Mackin Gorge back to life. Yeah, okay, I remember being saved. Yeah, the mayor is like crazy with grief, but he's chanting over and over again the prophecy, the one that we got at the very beginning. So essentially, his daughter is trying to be sacrificed to bring back the hello, Cora. You had to stop right in front of the camera, huh? Show off your legs. So we've got to get back in there and try to save the daughter before they bring the Dark Lords back to life and all of his men that were killed. Basically, an army of the undead. In the meantime, the dudes doing this decide to make an all-out charge at the city, and we have Duval and ourselves and Duval's men trying to defend this barricade that we have set up. And so we had been doing a good job of that up until this moment, in which we had a suicide bomber, essentially. No, don't run across the computer. Run across the field and send this fireball at us, destroying our barricade. So now the horses can get through and are leveling their lances at us. So yeah, we're right in the middle of combat. Did the poll finish? Oh. Whoops. That's my bad. Let me get that pole going again. Run back, bro. Okay, taking the lance head on. Seems like a bad idea. Alright. Oh, hey, Sapporo. So y'all want to run back? Right. No, I get it. Ugh. Ugh. The funny thing is that the hashtag program is not actually working as it was designed to. It's something that like is being held together basically with duct tape in order to get it running as y'all have experienced it. Okay, so we're gonna run back to the watchtower. 107. The bandit horseman pursues you, his lance speeding closer and closer behind you. You are running flat out, and it is too late to dodge the Summerlin soldier who now stands in your way, his bow drawn ready to fire. Dive, he screams at you, and instinctively you obey his bold command. Almost simultaneously, he releases the bowstring. The bandit is barely feet away when the steel-tipped arrow penetrates his visor and erupts from the rear of his helmet like a skewer through an apple. The charging horse crashes to the ground, throwing its dead rider at your side. You open your mouth to shout your thanks before you can speak. The soldier turns and hurries away to the barricade. If you wish to follow him, turn to 59. If you wish to continue towards the watchtower, turn to 310. So I guess at this point, why would we be heading towards the watchtower if the issue is over? Do we go and help them? Or do we pull back prematurely? I don't know. The ace archer. Yeah, he saved our hide. 1 second. Crack the back. Oh. Maybe a twist is in order. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. There it is. There are the cracks. That's about 4. So let's go ahead and follow the ace archer then. Where was that? There we go. 59. Indeed. Ever since I was rear-ended in a pretty bad car wreck, my back creaks and cracks. Captain Duval and his men are locked into mortal combat with the invading cavalry. They are outnumbered and hard-pressed by the merciless foe who uses their spike-shod horses to kick and trample their opponents underfoot. You reach the barricade to see yet another wave of the enemy approaching. Armored handlers with packs of warhounds spread out in front of a line of spear-armed infantry. 50 yards from the barricade, the armored handlers stop and kneel to let loose their dogs of war. Hi, Cora. Are you looking for attention? Okay, so this is a random roll of the dice. Yeah. So that is a 4. So 0 through 4, we turn 194. Oh my. The snarling warhounds bound towards the barricade, their gaping eyes glowing crimson in the light of battle. Leaping from the bodies of the dead and dying, they launch themselves at the Summerlending defenders. All around you, soldiers are being torn from the line, bowled over by the leaping warhounds. You back away as a howling dog crashes through the wall of sacks and barrels, but before it has risen, you move swiftly forward and dispatch it with one blow of the head. To the head. Another warhound claws at your back and pitches you forward into the collapsed barricade, but before you can free yourself, yet two more dogs have sunk their fangs into your leg. So we have to fight them to the death. Combat skill 17, endurance 38. That's not bad. We can work with that. So we are 26. Yeah, responsibilities, exactly. They are 17, so yay, we get a +9. This will be an easy fight. Which means it doesn't matter that they have 30, because we could get some insta-kills. Cora is watching my hand a lot as I move around. Alright. So we're working in this range. So on a 9 or 0, we could get an insta-kill. But that's a 2. So we get... They get 9 damage, we get 3. That's right, I forgot to reset it. It's to 28, so now we go down 3. So yeah, it still puts it at 25. And then they go down by 9. So they go to 21. Right, next round of combat. Another 2! Hooray! This is gonna go great. So they go to 12. Yeah, 12. And we go down to 22. Third round. Let something roll something better than a 2. A 4. Technically better. They get 11, we get 2 damage. Well, no matter what the next roll is, they die. We are down to 20. And they are down to 1. And depends on how much damage we get this time around. Oh, 6. So that would be 1 damage to us. So we are now down to 19. Let's see how quickly we can regain that. Unless, do y'all want to take a potion right now? We have 2 potions available to us. Are y'all wanting to use one of them to regain 4 or 5 endurance points, or save them for something more dire? There will probably be more combat. Okie doke. So now we turn to 311. like that band. 311 was like a Jamaican version of Rage Against the Machine. Kind of a lot more chill. I don't know if that's a good comparison, but... Three Summerlending soldiers come to your aid. Their swords slice into the evil warhounds until both dogs stiffen and die, and you thankfully stagger to your feet and try to assess the situation as the battle rages all around. Summerlending soldiers still man the barricade, forming in groups that hold firm when the wall does not. Spears and arrows arc through the sky, piercing metal, wood, and flesh. Men fall from their horses, horses scream and bolt, and the dead and the wounded lie everywhere. The warhounds have been driven back upon the spears of their masters, who now advance behind a wall of shields. To your right, a bandit warrior is trying to jump his horse across the barricade, but the animal is wounded near to death. It cannot make the jump. The rider is hurtled forward over the wall, falling close behind you. If you wish to attack the bandit warrior, turn to 90. If you wish to rally the Summerlending soldiers to repel the advancing spearmen, turn to 3. So, I guess the question here is, do we want to be more of a soldier type, worry about the people near us, and just fight? Or are we going to be more of a leader and think about the larger pack and try to get them faced off? Cora, come on. You're purposely standing in front of me now. She knows where the camera is. Like, she purposely pauses right here in front now. So it seems we are going to rally. We'll turn to page 3. You climb the barricade and shout the order, "Draw bows!" And as the enemy shield wall closes fast in a deadly race to beat your archers, fire! Their shields of cured skin and wood are no defense against the hail of death that tears into their ranks. The whole line seems to pause and sway. Great gaps appear, and spearmen fall in heaps on the field. Few escape being injured. Oh, I forgot to pop my healing up. So now we're at 21. You sense a turn in the tide of battle. The enemy are pulling away from the barricade by the score, carrying the wounded on their backs and on their upturned shields. You jump from the wall and race back towards the watchtower, where Captain Duval is still embroiled in the bitter struggle against the bandit horsemen. You are about to leave over the body of a dead bandit warrior when he suddenly comes to life and lashes out at your legs with a mace. He was only feigning death, and his surprise attack has knocked you out to the ground. You lose 1 endurance point. Oh, guess we're back down to 20 then. Well, that was sneaky. For some reason, he thinks he's the sneaky snack. But we gonna be the vicious viper. Turn to 62. Went too far. Aha. The bandit springs to his feet and attacks you with his mace. Deduct 2 from your combat skill for the first 3 rounds of combat, as you are now lying on the ground. You cannot evade combat and must fight the bandit to the death. Okay. So we'll get a +7 instead of a plus... 9, at least for the first 3 rounds. He may not last that many rounds, though. So we'll put 26 in brackets 24. We'll get a +9. And bracket 7. Just in case we last more than 3 rounds, so we have that reference. His is 17. Not any better than that dog. And has less endurance points than the dog did. That's probably why he was feigning death. So we're working with this row now. So only chance for death in one strike is going to be a 0. Oh, see, if we had that +9 instead, we would have killed him. But that was a 9. It's close. That is 18 damage. No damage to us. So 14, 10. He is down to 6 already. Pretty much. Second round, he is dead no matter which thing we roll. Not bad. That works for me too. Alright, that's a 5. So 2 damage to us, 11 to him. So he is now at -5. And we are down to 18. Y'all still want to wait on the healing potion or use it now? Or use one of them now? That's up to y'all. Figure I'll ask after combat during this whole fight. After each combat, rather. Everything sound alright? Of course, we have the awesome combat music going on. Alright, in that case, we're going to head on over to page 148. Another image again. Woo. These guys are not looking too happy. To me, Captain Devolve's voice booms out above the battle noise. Rally to me, Summerlending. The brave captain draws about him a shielded wedge of soldiers and charges into the flank of the horsemen. They reel and buckle as the shield wedge hews its way through their company. A Vasagonian herald, his crimson armor torn and his face smeared with blood, breaks free from the battle and sounds the retreat. You watch as the surviving bandits spur their mounts to the gallop, desperate to escape through the ragged hole in the barricade. Gripped by panic and fatigue, they ride through their own foot soldiers who are advancing to support them. The infantry falter and collapse as the cavalry ride them down. Captain Deval leads his men to the barricade and directs a lethal volley of arrows into the shattered infantry. It is the last straw. They throw down their weapons and flee from the clouds of arrows raining down from them out of the smoke-filled sky. A battle cry, proud and strident, pursues them across the plain. For Summerland! For Summerland! Turn to 137. Now we get 1 point back. We'll get 2 points back for this in the previous page. So we're back up to 20. All around the barricade, the enemy are retreating in disorder. Bandit war horns announce their withdrawal, exhorting their defeated warriors to flee the battlefield. A jubilant Captain Deval emerges from the war smoke, his eyes shining like jewels beneath the rim of his battered helmet. We have triumphed, Lone Wolf. We have vanquished the foe. All around you, the captain's men are rebuilding the barricade and tending to the wounded comrades. It sorrows you to see Summerlending dead, but you take heart, at how few they are beside the enemy's losses. The captain ushers you to the watchtower, where your wounds are cleaned and dressed with lamp sewer. The herbs restore 6 endurance points. Nice. That puts us up to 26. Probably means there's going to be a lot more combat happening. Didn't hit save. We have beaten this foe, but I fear that it is but a temporary reprieve, says the captain, his face now composed and somber. The sacrifice of Baron Vanelon's daughter must be stopped, if we are to avoid catastrophe, for our strength will not avail us against a foe freshly risen from the grave. Mortal Kombat! Yeah. The words of the verse flood into your mind, and a chill runs down your spine as you realize what may lie ahead. In 3 days' time, when the moon is full, Baraka will sacrifice the Baron's daughter at the buried temple of Makin, a sacrifice that will unleash the dead of Makin Gorge, the chasm of doom. You know you must prevent the sacrifice. Turn to page 12. "50 miles south of Ruinan, the ruined city of Makin teeters on the brink of Makin Gorge. A cold sweat breaks out upon your brow as you contemplate the difficulty of your mission, for you are separated from your goal by 50 miles of enemy-held territory. But there is still a flicker of hope. With the enemy in confusion and retreat, your chances of success will be far higher now than before the battle. Before you set off on your perilous mission, Captain Duvall offers you the choice of the following equipment and provisions: enough food for 3 meals, rope, potion of lamp sewer, stores 4 endurance points when swallowed after combat, a sword, and a spear. Make the necessary adjustments to your action chart before turning to 140. Now, what's nice is this rope doesn't take up 2 slots. So we have room. Didn't we use the iron key? I think we did. So that's gone too. So we have 3 slots open. We have only 1 ration left. We should probably take the rope. So the question is between the potion and the meal. Should we take 2 meals or a meal and 1 potion? That's more the question, I guess. So I'll put that to you. The potion, you can hunt animals for the meal. Yeah, I think so too. I'm definitely, because we do have 2 potions, but you can never have enough potions in that sense. But I'm gonna go ahead and put the rope in there. That's the one item that really stands out as being different from the rest. Let's see. It says here on the character sheet we have 31 gold out of a maximum that we can hold of 50. So I don't know if you can see Borat. Welcome in, by the way. On the far left, we have our character sheet. We have our Kai disciplines, our weapons, belt pouch, which holds our gold, the amount of meals that we have, but the meals count towards our total backpack items, a total of 8 that we are allowed. But then we have our special items, which are not backpack items, below that. And then our combat and endurance stats. So everything that we have, we will have on us. It's like we don't store anything anywhere. But there do run into situations where we can purchase things, whether it be a store or some sort of trader that we find. It's all up to the book, whether or not we run into those things. Surely keep loot somewhere. Not in this game, anyway. Pretty much anything that we have available to us, we have to manage right there on that sheet. That is how the book is designed. Yeah, here is how it is in the old school. Since this is simply a choose your own adventure mixed with RPG elements. But poll is over, no choices made. So since Borad said in comments for a potion and a ration, so that's what we will do. There we go. So what should we expect? Let's go and rescue the Baron's daughter. What should we expect? So we are headed... Oops, sorry. There we go. We are headed south. We are currently... right there. But we have to go to the ruins of Makin, just south of that, which is south 50 miles. More than likely, it's going to be mostly men, and so they don't have classic monsters the way you think. Orcs, ogres, gnolls, giants, that sort of thing. What we have are specifically creatures associated with this world. Some undead, some that essentially would be equivalent to orcs in that sense, and then just kind of unknown fell creatures. This is definitely its own world. This was designed in the 80s. They tried actually not to rely on the standard monster tropes specifically. Like, there are no elves, there's no dwarves in that sense. There are pretty much just humans in that sense, different race of humans. And then there are monsters and undead. I think, I don't know how familiar you are with the 1980s Gothic fantasy style. With that kind of more... A lot of people are shifty, and it's difficult to know if you should trust them. But of course, there's the Shining Beacons of Hope. Very kind of like Eastern European style of fantasy. Of that kind of Gothic style. So closer, I guess, in modern equivalency to Ravenloft, if we're thinking in D&D terms. Okay. Sorry, it's kind of difficult because it's kind of its own unique world setting to kind of describe. But there will be plenty of enemies, that's for sure. Gray space. Forgotten Realms Oath. Crystal Sphere. Why do I know that word, but I don't? Oh, is this for... Greyhawk? Is that the planet name for Greyhawk? Oh. Thank you for the subscription, Borat. I really appreciate that. You are now amongst the Kai. Took me a second to realize what was happening. Yeah, okay. I actually didn't mess a lot. I know Greyhawk is old school, and I'm considered more of an old school RPGer. Never really played a lot of Greyhawk. There's stuff that was Greyhawk, but I never really messed a lot with settings. But yeah. Thank you, Borat. I really appreciate that. Yeah, we only recently just became affiliate. So we are still kind of working things out. Thank you. I mean, the funny thing is since this is RPG, but this is designed around y'all playing with me. So y'all are in charge of making the decisions. I know, yeah, Slot. Thought it was the governor's daughter. Baron, well, okay, so Baron, Governor. A lot of it's kind of similar in that sense. What they call it, but a lot of it's a lot more. I'm actually not sure if he's a Baron or a Governor. I mean, you might be right, though. Slow. Yeah, we have a few people in here. Slow and his significant other, Zapporo. Yep, there you are. Me. And so, yeah, we play. And so we've been doing, this series. We're on book 4 now. And we'll be going through the whole series. And that's what we do on Thursdays. But already, let's see. I think we chose, the meal and the potion. We have the rope. And we are good to go. So we're going to turn to 140. By the way, any and all support for the channel, as well as support on Patreon, are all going towards my cunning plan. Do you have magic? Yeah, well, so think of it somewhere between a monk and a ranger. In the upper level here, you have Kai disciplines. So it's kind of like magic. Or party members. No, we are just solo. We handle Lone Wolf is his name. Sometimes we will have NPCs with us like right now, but oftentimes we are off by ourselves. So the Kai disciplines we currently have are Sixth Sense, which basically the book will say if you have Sixth Sense, turn to this page. A lot of times it'll give us some insight into the situation. Mind Shield, which gives us a... a defense against psychic attacks. Because some creatures attack with what's called Mind Blast, which is something we can get later. And that'll give us... Yes, exactly. Good. Animal kinship tracking, camouflage, healing, mind over matter. So mind over matter is kind of a weaker version of Luke Skywalker's little, like, get the lightsaber kind of deal. Hunting will help us with meals in certain situations. Healing gets us 1 endurance point back every time we turn the page, as long as there's not a fight. And then camouflage and tracking. So a lot of these abilities that we currently have are more situational to if it comes up in the book. Will give us extra. What? Did I turn to 140, right? Totally lost my train of thought. Okay. Here we go. Dusk soon enshrouds the beleaguered outpost of Ruanon, and you must cover to use. I can swear I can read and talk. Dusk soon enshrouds the beleaguered outpost of Ruanon, and you use the cover of darkness to cross the body-strewn plain towards the south. An old highway trails off to Makan, but it is choked with Vasagonian warriors. They stand about in sullen groups, tending to their wounded and brooding on their defeat. However, even demoralized and ejected, they are still a deadly foe. It will be too dangerous to risk passing through their ranks, so you must use the forest, to conceal your passage. If you wish to venture through the trees to the right of the highway, turn to 170. If you wish to pass through the trees to the left, turn to 314. So now, as far as I'm considered, the hashtag for those who want to use them, it's still available. But for those who prefer the polling system, it is there as well. So the choice available to you is to the left or to the right. And Zipporah, I don't know if you heard when I was joking with Slow, but we were talking about making an emote that has two arrows to the left and right that says Weast. Since y'all keep doing that. Zipporah, to the left, to the left. Everything you own in a box to the left. Alright. To the left is 314, so let's do that. Probably get rid of that window. Take your box out here. I would hate to ruin the surprise. Word. 314. Alright. The forest is patrolled by bandits, but they take little interest in their guard duties, and you find it easy to avoid them in the dark. Then, by chance, you come across a small log cabin hidden deep in the woods. A candle flickers at the window, and the door is ajar. If you wish to enter the hut, turn to 53. If you do not wish to enter the hut and continue on your mission, turn to 58. So the question is, enter or no? What I will suggest is, if you want to use the hashtag instead of the poll, like, don't use both. But I'll have the poll available as well. And I'll just kind of sum total it. Make a grand entrance. I am here! Feed me, Daddy. Mother, I crave violence. So we have one for entering. We have beaten, and we are heading out south to try and stop the thing, and we're having to go through the woods, and we run across a hut. So the question is, do we enter or decide to not enter? Because we're in the woods to hide from everybody else with a little log cabin hidden deep in the woods. Candle flickers at the window, and the door is ajar. And that's all we know. Do we wish to see what's in there, or not take any chances? Slow save going. Okay. So it seems the consensus is to go in. So we shall enter the Victoritas. Let's see. We've also turned one, two. This will be my. Oh, there's someone to fight. So we get 1 hit point back from the previous one. So we'll be at 27, but apparently we have someone to fight. The door slams shut, and you spin around to see a bandit leaping at you from the shadows. Pardon me. His head is a mass of bloodied bandages, but he is armed and determined to fight. Wounded bandit, combat skill 13, endurance 16. He fights you with his back to the door, and you cannot evade him. Alright. This will be a really easy fight. So we are at 26. This is going to end up being a 13, so this is going to be a plus 13. He literally has half the amount of... But we don't get anything for more than plus 11. But he has half the combat skill that we have. Alright. So we're going to be working with this row, which means a roll of 8 or higher gets us an instant kill. And honestly, since he only has 16, a roll of 6 or higher will automatically kill him as well. A 1, of course. So we take 3 damage. He takes 9. Still, he's down to 7. So at this point, a roll of any will kill him. So that's fine. We can roll a 1. He'll still die. It's more a matter of how much endurance points we lose. Haha! A 9. Insta-kill. Wish we would have gotten that before. Hopefully it'll be something to loot. Turn to 109. There is indeed. You roll the dead bandit over with the toe of your boot and make a quick search of his body. You discover the following items. 3 gold crowns, a dagger, a sword. That's it. You may take any of the above items. As you are leaving, you notice a trap door in the floor. Opening it, you see that it leads down to the cellar of the building. So now we have the option of either loot. Loot the loot. So we're obviously going to take the gold crowns. And remember, we gave Duval his sword, so we actually have a weapon slot open if we want a second weapon. Do y'all want to take a dagger or a sword? At this point, we already have a sword with the summer sword, so I'm thinking just a dagger, just in case we need it. What do y'all think? 34. And there is also a cellar to search if you want to. Or do you want to leave the hut? Might be something interesting down there. So 2 questions for y'all. Dag. Might pull a poison gas down there. It might.
Wow.
Wow. Wow, look at all this poison gas. I'm gonna have a gas. Yeah, let's head on down. Okay. Heading down we shall. $3.47. You are at the bottom of the cellar ladder when the trapdoor slams shut, and you hear a drawbolt slide across the lock. You hammer on the trapdoor, desperately trying to escape, but your captors cover the trapdoor with a heavy oak cask and keep guard in the room above. 4 days pass before the lock slides back, but the hands that open the trapdoor are bony and fleshless. Your life and your mission in here. Well, so much for a gas party. And see, that is where I tell you, you know what? Tonight I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna make some new emotes. That's what I'm gonna do. There's the dead. That's a death. I'm gonna update the death counter. So now we get to look at what we need to pick. Pretty sure we're fine with keeping hunting. We were wanting that for a little while. So, chainmail waistcoat is what we picked. We already had the shield. We got to pick. We may take up to 6 of the following. Okay. So that was 1. And now I'm thinking 2 potions and the rest meals, probably. Was that it? Just Warhammer dagger. Yeah, I guess that was it. That gives us 4 meals. And then we have to roll for gold again. Oh, did better that time. 7 plus 10. So we get what, 33? Yeah, I think that was it. And then I think now don't we have to re-roll for where is it? No, here we go. Add 10 for combat skill. So what was it? Oh, wait, oops. Okay, so 8 plus 10. So actually, we did better this time. Sorry, I'm getting us all set up and ready to go. So it was 18 plus the 8 for that, so that makes it 26, and then 27, 28, 29, 30. So we're better on combat skill by a lot, actually. Probably don't even need to be, but we are. So last time we rolled a 4 for endurance, though. Maybe we'll have higher. Dang it. 6. So it gives us 2 more. So now we have a 30 in endurance and combat skill. Because we get a +2 for the silver helmet and the shield for our combat skill. A +4 to our endurance for the chainmail waistcoat. +8 to CP for the summer sword. So that gives us ready to go, I think. For 3 days, you lead your brave company of rangers across the lush plains of southern Summerland on the first stage of your urgent mission. The flat, treeless fields surround you with a seemingly endless expanse of wheat, so high that even though you are in the saddle, it reaches well above your knees. Your horse seems to be swimming through a vast yellow sea of corn, and it is only interrupted by an occasional track or group of isolated farmhouses. The Southerners welcome your sudden appearance, but you only make the briefest stops for food and rest, neither wishing to risk becoming a burden nor alarm these good people with your mission. By noon on the 4th day, you reach the pass of Moitura. Here, the plains give way to the broken foothills of the Derncrag Mountains. Soon you reach a highway, the surface cracked and full of potholes, heading off towards the south. It is the notorious Ruin on Pike. South of the pass, the Ruin on Pike crosses 100 miles of open territory, known as Raiders Road. Bandit tribes from the wildlands and Gaiac warbands from the mountains of the west Yes, of the West frequently ambush those who travel along the pike. And the regular shipment of gold and gems from the mines at Ruinan have sometimes yielded rich pickings to these merciless robbers. Point and flankers, you shout, and immediately 3 groups of rangers peel away from the column and spur their horses to a gallop. You watch with pride as the expert horsemen take up their scouting positions to the front and side of the company. It is late afternoon when a ranger scout approaches the company from the west. He points towards a craggy outcrop where a thin spiral of wood smoke betrays a hut hidden beneath the overhanging rock. If you wish to investigate the hut, turn to 160. If you wish to ignore the hut and continue on your ride along the Ruinan Pike, turn to 273. So, previous viewers might remember that we visited this hut last time, and it led to meeting a sage, which gave us a prophecy and a scroll as a copy of the prophecy, which came in handy when we met with the governor or baron or whoever it was. So the question before the viewers is to hut or no hut? Ignore the hut. Oh, ha ha ha. Very funny. Well, there's so far 1 vote for hut. Now, apparently without the scroll, the father will just sound like a crazy rambling old man or something. I don't know. I don't know how important exactly it is, but it does give us a clue into what's happening. Hutter. Hutter. That sounds like hut. Besides, even if it is Jabba the Hutt, he probably has a really nice dancer. And yes, I'm that typical nerd who loves the, not necessarily Slave Leia, but the Slave Leia costume. It's very nice. Like, as someone who worked at Ren Fair, I've seen a lot of the belly dancer outfits, and honestly, as far as pure design goes, that's actually one of the best designs, like as far as properly covering, but also at the same time emphasizing the better elements that make up the female body. It actually does a very good job of that. So, choices to investigate the hunt. Weirdly enough, I'm a bit of a costume nut, clothing nut in general. I'm very aesthetically oriented. So, my reasonings are not necessarily the same as the standard reason. Mine are more design-driven, I guess. An escort of 5 rangers accompanies you along the twisting, narrow track that leads to the hut. The rough stone walls are covered with a damp moss in which is set a curious oval door. There are no windows. You have dismounted and are approaching the door when suddenly a man's voice calls from inside the hut. Come in, Lone Wolf. I've been expecting you. If you wish to open the door and enter, turn 84. If you wish to draw your weapon and kick the door open, turn to 205. If you wish to send in your rangers into the hut, turn to 306. Well, I know he's of no threat. He's not even technically really there. Kind of fades away as we passed our hand through him. But the choice is chats. Alright. Poll is ended. Enter it is. And here's our sagey gentleman. In the dim light of the interior, you see an old man seated at the table. You ask the meaning of the strange verse, but the old man does not answer you. He seems to have fallen into a deep trance. You lean across the cluttered table to awaken him and are shocked to see that your hand passes straight through the body. Gradually, his image begins to fade. Within seconds, he has disappeared completely. You place the scroll in your pocket. Marks this item as a special item in your action chart. You quickly leave the hut, pausing only to wipe the cold sweat from your brow. Okay, so we put the scroll back on the list. Pulled a Yoda on us. Exactly. 273.
Do not underestimate the power of the Emperor. That is all. Luke, there is another sky. Whoa.
You have ridden less than 5 miles when you see a group of wagons on the highway ahead. They are painted in a gaudy mix of bright colors and drawn by a team of oxen. A huge tasseled banner flies above the leading wagon, which bears the following proclamation. The famous Asgir players, troubadours of the imperial courts of Magnamund. If you wish to stop to question these traveling minstrels, turn to 37. If you wish to ignore them and let them pass, turn to 126. So last time we did stop. The nice thing about stopping in this case is that it led to us getting a hold of, what is it? Deval's sword. And we can present Deval with his sword again if we stop. Alright, so it looks like we are going to stop. Let's turn to 37. You signal the driver to stop. The wagon halts, and a small moon-faced man in a bright pink tunic throws open the rear door of the leading carriage. He shouts and curses the driver as he descends the ladder, pausing only to adjust the cummerbund that barely covers his huge stomach. Seeing your men, he lets out a strangled shriek and fumbles for his short sword hanging at his side. "Bandits! Robbers!" he cries, and wrestles to free his sword from its ornate scabbard. A row of anxious faces appears as at the wagon windows, but the expression soon changed to smile. I swear I can talk. Expressions soon change to a smile when they recognize your summer-lending uniforms. "Calm yourself, Yesu," shouts an elderly woman. "They are summer-lending rangers. They will not steal your gold." Laughter ripples along the carriages as the little fat man suddenly unsheaths his sword with such force that he spins around and tumbles to the ground. "You must forgive Yesu," says the old woman. "He means you no harm. Raider's Road has made him a nervous wreck." You question the old woman, asking her where they have come from and their destination. You learn that they are a troop of players and have journeyed many miles from their native land of Cloasia in the east. They last played for the people of Eshnar, but it was a disappointing show. It seemed that the town was as quiet as the grave. Those who did come to see them were a sad and sorry crowd. They are now bound for Homeguard, and hopefully a more appreciative audience. "Light is fading," remarks the old woman. "Perhaps you and your men will camp with us tonight. We would deem it an honor, and would be happy to entertain you with song and dancing." You notice the hopeful look in the eyes of your men as they await your decision. If you want to set up camp with the troubadours, turn to 182. If you decide to press on to Ruinon, turn to 247. So shall we stop for the night, Or shall we press on? Oh, let's try that. Oh! 4 Gathers is now following. Thank you for the follow, 4 Gathers. I really appreciate it. Stops. Pots. Storp. Is that what we're doing? So it seems the consensus is to stop. Although, I guess if I should pronounce the username the way it's spelled, it'd be 4 Gathers! But yeah, welcome on in. We're stopping for the night. 182. The wagons are drawn in a circle, and you set up camp inside. A ranger is posted to patrol the perimeter. The troubadours construct a small stage on which strides Yisu. He calls for silence before announcing the title of their play. The Brave Warriors of Summerland, a choice that meets with hearty approval from your men. During the performance, you notice something very odd. Not only is one of the actors using a real sword, but it's a type of sword only issued to officers of the Summerland Cavalry. After the play, you approach the man to question him about the sword. He looks at you nervously and makes a dash for the darkness of the perimeter wagons. If you wish to give chase and have either the Kai discipline of tracking or hunting, turn to 332. If you decide to let him go, because we do have it, if you decide to let him go and return to your men, turn to 165. If we remember, this is the gentleman who has Duval's sword, so we only get it if we chase him. Alright, chase it is then. 332. Although the wagons are shrouded in darkness, your Kai sense reveals to you the actor's hiding place. You climb the ladder at the rear of a large caravan, push open the door with your weapon, and enter. I have stolen one of your cats. I demand payment. I don't know. You'd probably have to pay the nasty tax. Turn to 222. In the plush candlelit interior of the caravan, you notice the actor cowering beneath a blanket in the far corner. You flick the blanket aside and ask the petrified man to explain how he came to possess such a fine sword. I bought it in Eshnar, he stammers, his eyes wide with fear, from the innkeeper of the Pick and Shovel Tavern. He grasps the sword by the blade and offers it to you. If it is your sword I have unwittingly bought, I am truly sorry. Here, please take it. You grip the brass hilt and examine it closely. There is no doubt. It's a Summerland cavalry sword, but the inscription on the blade makes your heart miss a beat. Captain Ramir Duval, Kingsguard Regiment. If you wish to keep the sword, mark it on your action chart as a weapon. No, not money. I want new organs. My tummy hurts. Damn meds. Yeah, I don't mark it in that particular business, so I can't help you. And this is not oh, what is it called? What was the name of that opera? Oh, like cyberpunk opera? And you hold it somewhere against your anatomy. Comes in a little glass vial. A little glass vial? A little glass vial. 165. You return to the Troubadour's stage in time for a meal that has been prepared by your hosts. The steaming broth smells most appetizing. If you wish to accept the meal, turn to 319. If you decline the food, you must now eat a meal from your backpack or lose 3 endurance points. Turn to 13. So, last time we accepted the meal and it was perfectly fine. But the choice is chat's. Let's see, we have a vote for meal, so we're going to take that. 319. The food is delicious, and you eat your fill, and then make preparations for a good night's sleep. At dawn, you and your company bid farewell to the traveling players and continue on your mission to Ruinon. Okay, I'll go ahead and make this roll, and then whatever we end up, that's where we're going to be for the night. So 4. So 25. I don't know if that's what we got last time. Oh, I think this is different. So we are going to leave it here. Mordenkainen shall hold our place.